What you doing, Diggletdreams? You got Mathers back for more of the Vitality Draft League. This is week 4 versus Aster, and is it the Montreal Habsols, I believe? So let's just get into it. I brought this team because one of the things I noticed about his team is that his only water resist was Greninja. So I decided to bring my two water types that have really strong attack stats. I'm bringing Banded Swampert, and I actually have Stealth Rock on there, so I'm going to lead with it and go for the Stealth Rock, just kind of bluff that I'm not banded, and then come in later and wreak havoc. And then I have Boots Gliscod, which is just Boots on Gliscod just makes it so much better. It has really good bulk, and the priority first impression obviously takes the Greninja down, as well as Aqua Jet hits everything else pretty hard too. I've also got a Z-move U-turn Hydreigon. I purposely made it U-turn 3 attacks because I wanted to bluff a choice item like Specs or Scarf, and then I actually have Darkinium Z in here. I also have Earth Power for the Heatran, which is pretty cool. I've got Boots Crobat with, just generally fast Pokemon, outspeeds Greninja, hits it with a U-turn, Brave Bird, and then Roost and Defog. And then I've got Scizor because Banded Bullet Punch is actually, or no, I'm not Banded, but Bullet Punch is good versus his team. Hits things like the Weezing, and obviously can handle a Lycanroc if that thing gets out of hand. I also have Hatterene as kind of a strong switch in to certain things, it also breaks Weezing, can tank hits from things like Greninja and Zapdos. I also put a Trick Room in the last slot of this thing just in case. It could actually be kind of useful maybe against, because he had a pretty fast team. Obviously look at his team, his slowest thing is Weezing. So a Trick Room could actually be pretty cool with Swampert and Gliscod, and even Scizor kind of benefiting from that. And the thing that I really like about Trick Room is that it doesn't affect the priority moves. So, first impression, Aqua Jet, Bullet Punch are still going to go first, even with the Trick Room. So even if in some weird scenario I go for the Trick Room and then he has something that is slower than my Gliscod or my Scizor, then I can still, go first. Anyway, this is the team. So he brought Lycanroc, Zapdos, Greninja, Weezing, Galarian Weezing I should say, Sandaconda, and Heatran. So I look at this team and I immediately am like, oh my god, I just click water moves versus his team with my Banded Swampert and my and I can probably get this in range of an Aqua Jet sweep later on in the game. So I'm enjoying the look of it. So of course my strategy is to lead Swampert as he leads Greninja. I know I can tank a hit from this unless he's happens to be Grass Knot or something, which I wasn't expecting. So he does just go for the U-turn, and I'm just gonna get my Stealth Rock, set up the bluff that I am not banded as he goes Heatran. And so here I was like, I forget if he was Z Heatran or not. He could be Z Solar Beam, but he's not. But I am going to switch out, of course, because I'm banded into Stealth Rock. So I go into Hydreigon knowing that I can take, a fire move or a grass move. So Zapdos comes in, and then he brings in Weezing, revealing that it's actually neutralizing gas, which means he has one less ground resist than I expected. As I just go for the U-turn there, bring the Swampert back out, and I'm ready to click Liquidation. So, of course, he brings in the Zapdos to try to dodge the ground move, but I'm just going right for it. Doing 51%. I get the defense drop. That means this thing, well, I might not have been able to even roost with the damage that I was doing. But defogs the Stealth Rock away, and I take out the Zapdos, which means that Earthquake is now pretty free versus his team too, which is great. Greninja comes in, and I'm just like, you know what? Let me take this one too, as he hits me with a Surf. Only does 37%, and I do 56% with Liquidation, and I get another defense drop. But I know he's probably going to switch there or something, so or no, he didn't. I guess I could have lived on it, but I wanted to keep it a little healthier. So he goes Greninja, and I expected him to fear the first impression there, but he doesn't, and gets this Toxic Spike up, so I decided to just get a Spike of my own. And then the Aqua Jet able to knock him out. I don't think the crit mattered because he did have a defense drop. But then the Lycanroc comes in, and I'm like, okay, this is a little scary. So I decided to stay in. I didn't want this thing to Swords Dance. And I knew I could probably tank an Accelerock which, you know, just switches me out with emergency exit. I go scissor here. I go for the U-turn, of course, expecting this to fear the bullet punch. The Heatran comes in, and I get Crobat, and I just want to defog this Toxic Spike away, as he actually reveals that he's Scarf Heatran right there, which is pretty interesting. Crobat wasn't really doing much for me in this game. I mean, Lycanroc resists. Sandaconda obviously tanks hits. Weezing isn't really tanking much from it either. I decided to double into Hydreigon, though, because I know I can take a Flamethrower, especially if it's Scarf, as he actually doubles into Weezing. I'm getting a little behind here. But I U-turn on the Weezing into my Hatterene, knowing that I can take like a Fairy move and then threaten it back. I expected him to switch here, but he actually goes for the Sludge Bomb and gets a Poison. Thankfully, I think I have leftovers, but I wanted to go for a Nuzzle on the incoming Heatran, so it didn't really work out for me. But I do paralyze the Weezing, which is not bad. Leftovers or saves me from Poison, and then he does go Heatran. I almost clicked it again, but Psychic actually ends up doing a pretty good chunk, so I don't mind. And I actually get a free switch here as Hatterene goes down to the Poison. So I get my Hydreigon in. I have Earth Power. I'm threatening it. He doesn't have much to switch into an Earth Power, especially since his Weezing is not Levitate, and that is a 2-hit KO on this Weezing. So I'm not sure what he wants to do here, so I just 2-hit KO the Weezing. I'm still bluffing that I'm choiced in some way, which just worked out really great for me. Sandaconda comes in. I don't want to get glared or anything, as he actually just starts going for coils, which is pretty scary. Thankfully, I do have some things that I'll outspeed it, but not much. I decided to just try to go for Brave Bird here, just try to get chip damage. I've calced that my Z move on Hydreigon does like 70-ish, so I would just wanted to, or 70 minimum, something around that range. So I just wanted to make sure that I was getting him into range of that. I wasn't obviously expecting to do much damage here. Crobat isn't doing much for me the rest of the game, but I think at this point he's in range. I go into my Hydreigon knowing he's going to just go for another coil, and he should be in range of a Z Dark Pulse right there. So I finally reveal that I'm not choiced, and the Black Hole Eclipse is able to knock out the Sandaconda. It's the first time I've used a Z move, I think, in the VDL entirely, and it worked out wonderfully for me. So I decided to just sack Crobat here as he goes for the close combat, and actually doesn't quite knock me out. But then, of course, the Accelerock is going to be able to pick me off. But the cool thing here, I have Scizor, and oh my god, guys, I wanted to so badly. I had Sand Tomb on the Scizor, and I wanted to click it so bad, but I was very much afraid of the Fire Fang on this Lycanroc. But it turns out I should have done it, as I go for the Bullet Punch on the Heatran. But I mean, it was the safest play, of course, was to, you know, try to knock out the Lycanroc, knowing that I have other things that can deal with Heatran in the back. Swampert actually tanks the Flash Cannon, tanks another one, and is free to go for the Earthquake, which knocks out this Heatran. And now all he's got left is the Lycanroc, which might out-prioritize me with the Accelerock, but it's obviously not going to be doing much to Scizor. And so the Swampert goes down just to prevent him from going for Swords Dance or anything crazy. And now Scizor gets to come back in and click Bullet Punch, and that's the game. So the Boston Buizels get their first victory in Season 2 of the VDL. Yeah, I just, like I should play poker or something the way I bluffed all these sets. I mean, obviously Astrid, very good player. Very good player. I just had a lot of unconventional stuff, and didn't really have anything prepared for it. Like, who prepares for Banded Swampert, Bluff Z Hydreigon? Yeah, and Earth Power on Hydreigon. That's not something you see every day. Yeah, he's a really good player. I'm very happy with this victory, and I hope to battle Aster again sometime. Yeah, if you're excited for more VDL content, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. And yeah, I guess I'll catch you guys in the next one. Let's go Boston Buizels. Peace out. Keep dreaming. Goodbye.